I just got back from a trip to Iceland. I went with a friend of mine from the UK and she took most of these gorgeous photos. When planning a trip to Iceland, one thing you hear a lot is that everything is very expensive there. And to be honest, it's not altogether shocking the prices there. It's a little bit more expensive, but to me that just makes sense because it's like an island in the middle of the ocean and it's more expensive to import things in. But Aggie and I like decided to pack our food with us and just cook that food in the hostels. And then there ended up being like a lot of leftover food from other people in the kitchen that was just free to take. So that was very lucky. So I think like altogether we didn't really break the bank. We just prioritized what to spend money on. The flight and train rides there and back together were about £80. We spent the first day wandering around Reykjavik, where we were staying pretty centrally. We booked full-day bus tours for the next 2 days. This first day was in the Golden Circle, kind of snazzy name. It was just like a little loop around Reykjavik, kind of outside of the city, to see a lot of natural sights there. This tour included a stop at the Secret Lagoon, and we like went for a swim there, and it was really, really lovely. I love the culture of just taking baths and like going into saunas and hot tubs in Iceland. Like, this seems like the right way to live. We found a really cool thermal pool in Reykjavik itself as well and spent some time there. One thing I did not know about these like thermal pools and stuff is that they smell so sulfuric. It is kind of nasty, like rotten eggs. The Golden Circle tour was a really special way to see the natural sights outside of the city of Reykjavik. If I was going in the summer, though, I would definitely rent a car and just take my time to enjoy the nature more. It felt a little commercialized and like they were rushing it. Our tour guide did have some really fun nuggets of wisdom to share and some not very useful ones.
If she survives the drowning, that means she's a witch.
This was a park around the area where the two tectonic plates of Eurasia and North America meet. And the tour guide was telling us how like these two sections are kind of pulling apart. So there's a chasm between them. We chatted to a few people in the hostel who went on Northern Lights tours and like had their heart set on seeing the Northern Lights in Iceland, and didn't see them. The weather is very cloudy and rainy, so yeah, it's just not a good chance. I would go to Canada or Alaska or Norway to see the Northern Lights. We made a friend at the hostel and he came with us the next day to the south coast. Here he is picking up some rocks at a waterfall we went to. Our tour guide for this tour was very knowledgeable about like the geography and the volcanoes and everything and the people of Iceland. He is a journalist who moved to Iceland from Spain. I find that very crazy to just move to Iceland. I can't imagine living somewhere where volcanic eruptions are just a part of your everyday life. I think this glacier was my favorite stop of either of the tours. It was just so still and quiet. If there hadn't been anybody around, I would have loved to just sit and listen to the silence. It was very otherworldly. Garbage truck. We went to the town of Vik, and I was definitely expecting it to be a more bustling place, but it was very special. And we climbed up a hill to see this iconic Icelandic church. Our next stop was to this black sand beach. It was so trippy. Like, it was getting dark outside, but also the darkness of the sand just made me feel like I was seeing the world in black and white. Also, these waves, the tour guide was like, do not get closer than like 50 or 60 meters or something like that to the waves. And we watched several people almost get swept out to sea, just like from the waves coming in on the sand. They were that powerful. This waterfall was the last stop on our tour, and it was such a long day, and I was so cold and wet. But yeah, we just went home the next day, and that was it. Thanks so much for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed. I'll definitely really like having this to look back at, especially if I don't end up going back. But honestly, I really hope I do go back in the summer and like rent a camper van. Yeah, maybe even you got some travel tips for planning a trip yourself. Yeah. Bye. Take care.